What up, guys? So today we got a question from Jake, who's wondering if you need to drill to be good at jiu-jitsu. So he says that, when he looks up a lot of the different guys that he follows on the internet, a lot of them talk about drilling and repetitions or drilling positional training, things like that, different forms of drilling. And he says that they all talk about it like that. But he says for him, he's only able to train 3 days a week. He's an older guy. And like most people north of 30, north of 35 in jiu-jitsu, you got other stuff going on in life, don't you? Right? You might have a family, you got a career, you got, work. And then you got the fact that, you're older. And so you can't train as much as you could when, say, if you were 20. And so he's at this thing where he's doing 3 days a week consistently. But he's like, man, at his gym, they only do warm-up technique, open rolls. There's never any situational training. There's never any drill time. It's just that, and that's what he can make. And so he sends me the message that, hey, Chewy, do you have any tips to get the most from my training if I'm not able to drill and all I have available is this class structure that I've described? So, brother, thank you for the question, Jake, and let's jump into it. So, do you need to drill to be good at jiu-jitsu? No, you don't need to drill to be good at jiu-jitsu. Again, I'm a proponent for doing drilling with certain techniques. Like, I'm not going to do them with all techniques. There are certain categories of techniques where I feel like I get more bang for my buck when it comes to drilling, such as things like takedowns, like moving through takedowns and things like that. I feel like I get a lot of value from that. By the way, when I say drilling, it's not like person sitting static and we're not moving. It's a lot more involved than that. And I get a lot from situational rolling, right? I think those are great. That said, if you can't do those, and all you got is 3 days a week of warm-up technique, open rolls, you can still make a lot of progress with that. What you have to do is you have to be very intentional about the way you step on the mat. This is one of the reasons why I've heard people talk about the same issue that you're having, where basically all you guys have is open rolls, like open mats, open rolls, no situational. This is one of the reasons why I wrote the ebook that I give away when you guys join my email list, which is the Chew Crew, where I send out a daily email. And when you join, you get an ebook and a video that comes with it that goes into some strategies on how to get more focus out of your open rolling sessions. Because what you're going to have to do if you want to get better with these open rolls, you can step on the mats and just go with the flow, right? You can just jump on the mats and just I'm just rolling today, let's see what happens. And you'll get better to some degree that way. But to me, that's kind of akin like going over into the weight room. Our weight room's over there, that's why I'm pointing this direction. Going into the weight room, and when you get over in the weight room, you just sort of go with the flow. I'm gonna do a couple curls here, maybe bang out a couple squats, and you just mess around. There's no thought behind it. There's no intention behind it. Maybe you get stronger, maybe you don't, who knows, right? It's just all over the place. And that's kind of what happens with people's rolling. Like a lot of times I'll talk to people who are hitting sticky points in their game. They're at a situation where they're like, I just don't feel like I'm getting better. And sometimes they even feel like they're getting worse. And one of the questions I always ask is okay, well, what are you focused on right now? Very rarely do I get a good, clear answer. This is what I'm focused on. A lot of times it's just kind of going about the normal rhythm of things. Also, too, another trait that I've recognized is that when I talk to people who are some of my best students, and even some of the people when I'm traveling and I'm in a seminar setting and asking people what they're focused on right now with their jiu-jitsu, a lot of times the people that are typically the best, skill-wise, they answer like that. They know. They have clear objectives that they're working on. And so if you've got 3 days a week and you got that open rolling session, and that is where you're going to be doing your work, as far as the actual training goes, right? Because again, the technique stuff you're learning, technically, if you want to say it that way, you're playing around with it, right? But the learning happens when you're rolling, right? When you're actually going against live resistance. That's where you learn something, because learning has to be felt in the body. It's not something you can see. You can't watch an instructional. You can't watch your coach do it. You really learn something through using it during a live situation, right? So with that said, how do you get more from that time? Well, the big thing is you have to have an objective set. You have to go onto the mat with a clear idea of this is what I'm going to do today. That's it. You can get a lot from that. As simple as that is. And many people might scoff at that. They might go, "Chew, that's too easy." That's way too easy to get. You're going to improve faster by just being clear intention. That's absolutely what I'm telling you, because most people don't do it. Right? You go talk to nine people out of 10 who just go on an average gym open mat. They're just rolling. They're just having fun. They might have a little bit of a focus, but they're just kind of having fun. Nothing wrong with it, by the way. That's great. But again, if you're someone that is trying to wring out as much as you can from those training sessions, you have to be intentional about it. Now, one of the easiest ways to go about it is simply say, hey, what positions am I already getting to? Right? You can think about like the trends in your game. Maybe you're always getting to side control. Maybe you always get put in side control bottom. Maybe you get put in mount, whatever. Find the positions, and then you can start studying those positions and trying to work on adding things to those spots, right? So maybe you really need to work on your escapes because you get stuck. Study escapes. Forget about the rest that jiu-jitsu has to offer. Study escapes. And then when you go into the gym, literally try to escape. Focus on like letting people pass you, or if you can't stop them and they pass you, escape. Or maybe it's you're getting to side control top or top of mount. Well, then you start studying that. You watch matches of people using it. You study instructionals, whatever you want to do. The rest of jiu-jitsu goes out the window. And you study those positions you're already getting to, and you start trying to add things, and then you stop watching and you go train, right? You stop scrolling, go train. You stop watching the instructional and you go train. Right? Again, you don't need much to get started. You just need one idea. Like, okay, there's an arm bar. I'm going to try. Stop watching this stuff and go get to work. And again, if you want a bunch of other strategies, the ebook that I have has 12 and you get them for free. But again, the basic idea is simple. Be focused with your training. That is how to get more from those 3 days a week. You don't have to drill. Again, drilling can be useful in some capacities. You don't have to drill though. And you can get your butt on the mats and you get plenty of skill development that way. So anyway, that is my idea to you, Jake. Hope it helps you, brother. I'll talk to you guys next time.